Hey guys, King Kaiju here, and today we're going to be doing another review, and that review is on the Playmates King Kong. This comes from their new Godzilla vs. Kong line, and this guy is one of the highlights of that line, definitely. We'll go over why in this video. This is actually a figure I got yesterday as I'm recording this, but I wanted to get this one done because I'm very eager about this figure, and it's probably one of my new most favorite ones. But don't worry, this does not mean that I'm going to be reviewing all of my new figures. Once I get the ones that I currently have ordered and on the way, I'll make a good collection video. And don't you guys worry, this one's actually quite big. With that out of the way though, let's get into the actual review, starting off with detail. Now, detail of Kong here is great. The fur especially is the main highlight. You can even pick apart individual furs of this guy, and it's just very nicely done. The shoulders, in my opinion, are the highlight of all of it, having, in my opinion, the best detail. On the back, too, there's a lot of nice detail. The only parts that I have to complain about are the head and the chest, because they're not that nicely detailed. Of course, they still do have detail, but not as much as, like, the fur. But I can't really complain about that too much because, what else are you supposed to do? It's just a 6-inch toy. You can't really get all of the individual skin particles of them, so take what you got. Now let's get into articulation. And King Kong actually has quite a lot. His arms can rotate and also spin. Same thing with the elbow, rotate and spin. And the wrists only have a little swivel joint. They're a little bit tighter than the other joints of the arm, but not too tight to where it's going to become a problem. Other arm has the same thing. Head can rotate 360. Legs can move up. Knees can move down. They can also move up quite a bit. Legs can move back. Same thing with this leg. And the legs can also rotate like that. So pretty good in my opinion. Now, before we get into sizing, though, this Kong actually has a couple accessories, and you've probably seen one throughout this entire video. That being his battle axe. Let's remove that from his hand real quick, and look at it. So, of course, it's pretty obvious that this is a Godzilla spine. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. And it's very nicely detailed and painted. Actually, probably the nicest detailed and painted thing on Kong. I would have liked the straps, if you can't tell there's straps on it. I would have liked the straps to have been painted, but it's not that big of a deal. Overall, the battle axe is very nice. What isn't as nice, though, is the fact that Kong actually has battle damage, which you can probably see the seam for there. It's a bit hard to get out, but once you do, it's easy. And that's what the battle damage looks like. Maybe would have liked detail in there, but not a big deal. That's what the inside of the arm looks like. Pretty cool that they managed to hide that joint in there. But what is not so cool is the fact that this is a pain in the ass to get back in. I know that probably looked relatively simple, but that is probably a very lucky go. Usually it takes you about 2 minutes or more to get that actually in, and it's quite difficult. Anyway, moving on to sizing, let's put Kong right there. I'll not put his battle axe on him for this one, since we just want to see the size of the figure. And first, we'll go up with an Ultraman. That being Gorg Firegulza. And you can see Kong is kinda shorter than him. It's hard to really tell, but yes, he is a bit shorter than Gorg Firegulza here. But it's what it is. Two different companies, you really can't compare them that well. I'm just showing you so you can see how big he is. And speaking of that, here's another figure that quite a lot of people have, that being Destroya. So as you can see, Destroya is also slightly taller than Kong, which is pretty surprising because this figure is pretty short, but, it is what it is again. However, what can be compared pretty fairly is another Playmates figure, which is the Skullcrawler. However, again, there's a slight problem because we've not actually seen this Skullcrawler. It's a completely new mold. We've never seen the Skullcrawler in Godzilla vs. Kong yet. So, there isn't really anything we can do to see if this is accurate or not. But at the end of the day, I still think that it is pretty cool. And if there is a Skullcrawler this big, for one thing, it's going to be awesome. And two, if Kong doesn't punch it in the face, I'm going to have some issues, Legendary. Spinning him back around, that is the end of the Kong review. Nothing else really to go over about him. He's a very nicely detailed figure, he's got awesome articulation, and he's sized relatively okay. I don't have many other Playmates figures, so I can't really do any good sizing, but this should give you all you need to know about this guy. So overall, I definitely do recommend this guy, and he's starting to get kind of rare. Like, I had to go to 2 Walmarts to find him, although to be fair to that second one, it did have like 3 of them there, so... But again, if you can find him, I definitely recommend pick him up if you haven't already. So with that, I think that I'm done with this review. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.